Good morning. Hello. Yeah, that's working. Well, we worked yesterday. We had a work day at church, and we did all this work, and I thought I'd fix the speaker, even played music for 3 hours, and it was absolutely perfect. And I guess it just went out this morning. Again. Like, good grief. Throw something at that thing. Hey, if anybody needs a cat box, kitty litter box, there's a nice kitty litter box. Oh, okay. There you go, Deb. That's one piece of it. The rest of it's in the hallway. So, yeah, I figured you could figure that out. And new 2017 Medicare booklet in the back. For those of you who don't know, that's one of the things that I do is help people on Medicare. So we're going into Medicare. And we did have the cleanup day yesterday. And if you missed it, you missed Janice's chocolate, coconut, almond, oh my God, cookies. I mean, they were like, wow, you could eat like one. And it was like, oh, wow. But thanks for all that were there. It was appreciated. We got lots of stuff done. Thank you so much for everybody. And more t-shirts. I'm sorry if I came across as crude, outspoken, and opinionated. That's only because I am crude, outspoken, and opinionated. So, yep. And a picture of a cow with a seat on it and socks, and it says, hillbilly motorcycle, a cow Asaki. Oh. Go figure. We do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, why in the world are we here? Surely not to live in pain and fear. Why on earth are you there? When you're everywhere, come get your share. It's true. Should be a song. Definitely should be a song. If it's true that our species is alone in the universe, then I have to say that the universe aimed rather low and settled for very little. So, sometimes. So, hey, I have a recipe and an answer for anyone that's depressed. Now that I've got everybody's attention. Go out to the river and just stand there and look at it. And just look at it. Look at a sunset. Go to the forest and just be the forest. I mean, seriously, you get out of yourself. If you actually get into that, your depression will go away right then and there. It might not stay away, but you will get out of yourself for just a little while and experience what it's like, because it is awesome. The dot over the letter I is called a title. Title also means iota or little bit, as in, I don't care one little. Bit. Yep. Things that make you go, Pocket all your knowledge with your watch and never pull it out in company unless desired. Pocket all of your knowledge with your watch and never pull it out in company unless desired. Nothing is more terrible than ignorance in action. Johann van Gogh. Okay. And from Mark Twain, the radical invents the views. When he has worn them out, the conservatives adopt them. Okay. You won't catch me commenting on that one, will you? Their military fame has somewhat obscured the fact that early Romans were skillful growers of fruits and vegetables. Many estates boasted carefully worked gardens. From the name for garden, hortus, we get the term horticulture. Horticulturists who flourished under the Caesars actually launched gardening in Britain. They introduced the cherry to the island sometime during the 1st century and took the grapevine there during the 3rd century. Rome was forced to abandon her island outpost in the 5th century. Natives were little interested in growing kitchen foods, so gardening continued to flourish chiefly in connection with religious institutions. Nearly every abbey and monastery had its own fruits, vegetables, and herbs. In order to protect precious rows of plants from wandering cattle, monks began to build walls and fences around cultivated jobs. Popular speech of the period termed such a guarded place as a garden, which was modified to garden. The name of the cultivated spots so highly prized by medieval monks became attached to all small fields planted for household use, guarded or not. So, now you know. Little kids. Teacher, Donald, what's the chemical formula for water? Donald, H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O. And, well, what are you talking about? Well, yesterday you said it was H2O. Oh, kids. Teacher, Winnie, name one important thing we have today that we didn't have 10 years ago. Me. All right. Oh yeah, I've done this one before, but it's still kind of cute. A little girl was talking to her teacher about whales. The teacher said it was physically impossible for a whale to swallow a human because even though it was very large mammal, its throat was very small. The little girl stated that Jonah was swallowed by a whale. Irritated, the teacher reiterated that a whale could not swallow a human. It was physically impossible. The little girl said, "When I get to heaven, I will ask Jonah." The teacher asked, "Well, what if Jonah went to hell?" Well, the little girl, of course, replied, "Then I'll ask him." Then you can ask him. Almost messed that one up, didn't I? Totally blew that one. Wow. Okay. Oh, Johnny's mother looked out the window and noticed him playing church with the cat. He had the cat sitting quietly and he was preaching to it. She smiled and went about her work. A while later, she heard loud meowing and hissing and ran back to the open window to see Johnny baptizing the cat in a tub of water. She called out, "Johnny, stop that! The cat is afraid of water." Johnny looked at her and said, "He should have thought of that before he joined my church." Silly. Yes, silly. Well, I'll tell you, that's what's amazing about telling this jokes, if you will. It's all in the timing.
Absolutely.
And screw up the last line and they go, huh? What does he mean by that?
Good morning, everyone. Did everyone get a card from me writing the 3 things that are a challenge in your life at this time? So everybody got one. Okay, I'll come by and collect them on my way down the aisle. Fall is here. We've got a busy fall and winter coming up. First off, I want to address that we are redoing the case out here where we light the candles. So I've taken out items that if you had put any items, added any items to that case, take a look up here at this table, and they're for you to take home or do with that whatever you want. The other thing is that we're going to have a potluck at the end of the month. I'll start sending around a sign-up sheet next week, and it's going to be an Italian theme. That's the one we talked about, I think, a couple months ago. So I think it's on the 30th, the last Sunday of the month. We are going to do Thanksgiving again here at the church. I know that's a couple months away, but be thinking about that. Yeah, it's so much fun. Joe and I will do the turkey again, and you just bring the fixings to go along with it. And then, I'm blanking here. Gift fair, thank you. We're going to do a gift fair here at the church again. If you would like a booth in the gift fair, it's going to be $25 for that space. Please see me so that I can get you signed up. And again, I'm going to send around a sign-up sheet if you're interested. We'll be announcing it. It'll be December 3rd, so the first Saturday, all day, December 3rd. Okay, I think that's everything. Right? Okay, good. Thank you.
We were talking this morning about going live. Like, oh, stop. Turn off.
Yeah, maybe that wouldn't be the best idea, huh?
Well, I think people that I think it would be awesome because they miss all. Honey.
You think I edit this stuff out?
You're my hero, Phil. He is. He's my hero. If I can't fix it, if I couldn't do my life without that man. I probably could, but it would just not be as much fun. I think I just said that. Oh, so much I want to tell you today. I want to start with telling you my process for Sunday service. Sometimes my process is I get an inspiration like Monday, and it's like, oh, wonderful. And then all week, little bits and pieces come to me. And as they come to me, I ponder on them, and I'm usually given a symbolic icon or item, and I just hang it in my energy field. And so that when I come to church, and I look in the book and get all jazzed up, and when I come to church, then I can share ideas, and these things will light up. Oh, it's time to talk about this. It's time to talk about this. And then there's weeks like this one. And all I heard on Monday was, have them write 3 things they are challenged with in their life right now. Well, we don't want to talk about that. What am I going to say about that? What am I going to do about that? What am I talking about that? Silence. Thank you. So, go. So as I was going through the week, going, okay, what do you want? What do you want me to say about that? What are we sharing about that? And here's the deal. I think other ministers have it really easy. They just choose what they're going to talk about, and then they make a message out of that, and they have their point A and point B and point C and their conclusion, and then the wrapping up song. I mean, how easy would that be? No, I don't get to do that. So I was just waiting all week. I was just waiting. Okay, so what do I need to know about that? Well, a couple things happened the last couple of days that really brought home to me a message for you. What Spirit wants you to know. First thing I wanted to share with you is the fact that I went to the grocery store last night. There's a lot of sad people in the world. Maybe they just all shop on Saturday evening. I don't know. Is that the sad time of day to go shopping? I don't know. But I'm not a sad person. So I'm going through the grocery store. Hi, how you doing? La, la, la. It was like crazy. People looked at me like I was nuts. And they had persimmons. The persimmons are out. Phil has I have this persimmon cookie recipe. And it's like amazing, wonderful stuff. But we don't get persimmons, but this time of year, closer to Christmas usually. So to see them this early was kind of like, oh my gosh. So I cut this guy off, and persimmons! I was freaking out running the persimmons. And he's looking at me, and I says, oh, I'm so sorry. My husband just loves persimmon cookies, and they have persimmons, and it's the first time I've seen them. I'm just so excited. And he's looking at me like I'm from Mars. Has a little kid in a cart. And I think he's grandpa, driving around a little kid in a cart. And so I thought, okay. This was like the first 2 minutes of being grocery shopping. So we get around to the bulk food items, and he's helping his daughter get stuff. So I turned the corner. I thought, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. And he said, so what do you do with persimmons? He said, we make cookies with them. That's really good. We make cookies with them. Okay. And then but he was still pretty grim. So I went and did this and did that, and went around the aisle, came back to get some dog chew things, and he was on that aisle. And it was like, persimmon cookies, huh? I said, yeah, look online, you might find it. So by this time, he had a little teeny tiny smile. And his little grandson had a little smile. And hadn't vibrated over to the daughter yet, because she was still working at getting her stuff. But I had high hopes for them. And that was in the produce aisle. You can imagine what the rest of my shopping trip was like. Poor checkout guy. I feel sorry for him. I may have to find a new grocery store. I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of... Winco can take anything, yes. But there's a lot of sorrow in the world. And I ask you to write your 3 challenges out because there's sorrow and pain in your life. Not because you're a bad person. It's because you're human. That's what it means to be human. If you didn't have challenges in your life, sorrow in your life, you would not be here. So yay you, you're here, right? Way cool. I have some tools for you today. Tools will help you assist you in your journey. So the other thing that came up, 2 things, and they're kind of linked. Friday night, I went over to a relative's house and was doing a healing on their little boy. And he has a lot of disruptive things going on in school, and he gets all these notes, and he's just really suffering. So they asked me to do a healing. So I did a healing, did a few things, did some things I'd never done before but was led to do, which was like way cool. Those of you who've done Dream Quest, I changed the battery pack. And so after that, he said, he calls him Grandma. He said, Grandma, can you teach me how to do that? I said, yeah, change mine. So he did, he changed mine. And then when we went in and talked to his parents, we were telling him about what we did, and I gave him some tools, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tap him back into his body. There's some other links, some other grounding things. Taught him how to pull energy off that wasn't his. Taught him how to pull energy when he gets too ramped up. And it was wonderful. It was just wonderful. And so we were telling his folks about that, and the mom said, I need that. I need my battery pack changed. And I said, you game? And he said, sure. So brought a chair out, sat her down. I helped him do it. He did it, and you could see her eyes. They'd been going through trauma, family trauma, this last week, heartbreaking stuff. And I cry just think about it. It's so sad. Anyway, you could see her eyes brighten up as he was working on her. And you could see his energy just kind of pulsating and glowing. We gave him a metallic mesh shield so he could be safe in his own skin. It was really cool. And so when she got done, she's elbowed her husband. She says, you need this. And he says, I'm good. I've got plenty of energy. You need this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And she just hammered him so fine. Oh, fine. He got a real blessing out of it. And he said, my gosh, his hands are a little hot. They were really warm. Because he put his hand on. And I said, yeah, he's quite the healer. He's really got some positive energy. When we walked in from the other room where we were doing healing before we had talked to them, they looked at it and went, he's not the same child. We were able to do some real major healing on this child physically, energetically, and give him some understanding that he didn't have before. It was just like awesome. So then this morning I wake up and there's a message on the Divine Fellowship thing about somebody who is an empath, didn't know what to do with themselves, and so put a little blurb out there of, you're not alone. And I think that's our message today. When you were writing this, you felt alone, did you not? You're not alone. You may not be able to manage these things and fix these things and deal with these things because we're trying to do it alone. You're not alone. If it was within your power to do, you'd have it done, right? If it's not to your satisfaction, it's because you're becoming aware of the fact that it's not all your task to do. Some things are outside of your task to do, and that's Spirit's job. Some things are you have your part. You got to do your share. And some things are in partnership with Spirit, and some things are in partnership with other human beings. We don't know how to ask for help. We think we should be able to do it by ourselves. Who says? Who says that you have to do it by yourself? Sharing a burden with someone else, even just talking about it and knowing somebody can't do a thing for you but they care, doesn't that change your world? Didn't that change your world just a few minutes ago? Yes, it does. Because we're not meant to walk alone in this life. Otherwise, we all have our own little cave. Now, some of us use our home as caves, and I'm a big one for doing that because I like my cave. I like my home. And I, going out and talking to people is like, it's not my favorite thing in the world to do. I like one-on-one. Let's talk, and let's talk deep about deep stuff. I'm good with that. Chit-chat, not so much. I can talk persimmon cookies, though. Because I'm fired up about persimmon cookies. What gets you fired up? This stuff takes the fire out. Right? When you're in this, the fire gets extinguished. So what do we do? How do we get that fire back? What brings that fire to us? Oh, there's so much I want to share today. I want to share. Let me start with this one. Let's start with this one. Psalms 147, verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And in the margin of this particular Bible, New American Standard will have other words that can be translated to the same word. So they give you an option so that you know, if you look at both of those, then you get an idea of what's there, because sometimes their words are different than ours. He binds up their sorrows. Have you ever had a cut and you didn't put a Band-Aid on it? What happens to it? Gets infected. Oh, not fun. Itches, burns, hurts, stings, swells up, can't use your finger. This is unbound. This is a wound unbound. But you can't do the binding. You can't do the wrapping. You don't have the Band-Aid for this. Spirit does. Spirit does. And that I want to share with you. Because, New Testament now. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Let us therefore, whenever you see therefore in the Bible, you want to read the verses that came ahead of it, because then you know what it's there for. But I'm not going to do that. You got your own Bible, go do that. Let us therefore draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. Grace is unmerited favor. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to do this good deed and then God will bless you. No, that's not how that works. Grace is a gift. You get to get it. You get to receive it. And we forget. We think we got to do it on our own. We think that we're stuck with this and we feel wounded and hurt and we don't have the medicine. All we've got is this human form, our will, our intent, and spiritual forces to assist us. If we don't ask for their assistance, they will let us have it. Because it's disrespectful to take somebody else's world and make their world okay. Isn't it? Mother, please, I'd rather do it myself. Remember that commercial? Showing my age here. But there comes a time when your kids are little, you tie their shoes for them. When they get a little older, you teach them how to tie their shoes, or you buy Velcro. One of the two. But then they become independent. They don't need you to tie their shoes anymore because you've given them the tools to do that. Same thing spiritually. Sometimes we have the tools, and sometimes we have to ask for the tools to be gifted to us because we don't have them. And we forget that that's available to us. Nehemiah, little teeny tiny book, way in the Old Testament, buried in there. Chapter 9, verse 31. Nevertheless, don't you love that word? Nevertheless. Nevertheless, even though this stuff is going on, it hurts and it's painful and you don't like it. Nevertheless, in thy great compassion, thou didst not make an end of them or forsake them, for thou art a gracious and compassionate God. Now, if you have trouble with the word God, change it to something that suits you. Thou art a great and compassionate higher power. They're a great and compassionate divine source. Whatever works for you, doesn't matter, because it's about you and your significant divine relationship with Spirit in whatever serves you, whatever way you can understand, comprehend, and receive. But there is compassion available to you that will transcend this. Bind it, wrap it, and put a Band-Aid, put some medicine on that. Wrap it in soothing love so that you can go on about your part of the deal. Because you have your part. God has God's part. God's here to support and encourage, strengthen, honor. And we do our part. We live. And living is the hard part, is it not? And when we have that sorrow bound, then we can live. Then we can really live and be joyful. And like Phil talked about, finding the beauty in things. My brother he and I were talking the other day. He was kind of struggling with something, trucking up the hill. He went and walked Badger. I think he runs Badger now, I don't know. Built up to where he could run. But he was trucking up Badger, and he was struggling with the walk, and it was hard, and he was just struggling with this other issue. His wife has health issues. It was just, breaking his heart. He got up to the top. Actually got halfway up. I think he said halfway up. And he stopped, and he looked around. And he saw the beauty of the valley laid out before him. And the moment he did that, the moment he experienced the beauty that was out there, his whole world shifted. And he just trucked right on up. We as human beings are the only creatures that can observe, experience, and notice beauty. That is the part of you that makes you sacred. All the other animals and things like that, they go about, do their own thing. They can experience love. Human beings are the only things that can notice and appreciate beauty. So take that sacred right, that sacred honor, that gift that was gifted to you, and use that to refuel and reignite your fire. Now, if you can find it on Facebook, that's great. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Whatever. If you can go out into nature and see it, that's wonderful. But it's that reconnecting with nature that reignites the flame within. Because this dampens the soul. This shuts us down. And when we're shut down, we move from this part of the brain that processes data and information in a way that we can analyze and come up with solutions. We go from here to the primal brain. And the primal brain is fight or flight. We don't make real good decisions from that perspective. We make decisions that may save our life, or it puts us in a place where everything becomes life and death. You put the dishes in the dishwasher wrong. It's life and death. We're here. Primal. Watch what you're saying to one another. Watch what you're doing to one another. I know, if I get all spun up about something, primal brain. If I'm back here, primal brain, it's got to be this way, or I'm freaking out, and I'm life or death. My fire's out. And I get to ask for grace, this compassionate, loving experience to come to me and recharge my batteries. And then, the next time I open the dishwasher and the dishes are put in there differently than I would prefer, it's like, oh, look, Bill's been here. Total different attitude. Total different attitude. That primal brain is here to keep us alive. But it doesn't make us happy. Spirit makes us happy. Spirit brings us happy. And it's a grace. It's a gift. It's a blessing. As you were writing these out, and I read them, and I'll be praying for these for you. And my prayer for you is that you ask for grace. Some of these things are in your path. There are things for you to do. There's actions for you to take. Most of them weren't. Most of them were, you're waiting for more information, so you're in a state of wait. Some of them were somebody else's health issues. There's nothing you can do about that. That's a God thing. Giving you the strength to observe and be. Some of it was your own health. Some of that you can do. You can make better choices to eat differently, and you can do your part. Some of it, maybe you got to sign up for that surgery. I don't know. But what can you do right this second? Nothing. Nothing. So get in that place of empty and be filled. One of the things I was doing with this grandson was we pulled some of this disruptive energy out of his mind. And so I asked him what it felt like before, and he told me. And sometimes it's hard to find words to put to things we're experiencing. And so, but he did. He found some words. And I pulled it off, and I said, so how does that feel? And he says, empty. And I said, well, empty is okay, but let's fill that with something even better than empty. And I said, what, if you could pick a color, what would it be? He said, oh, electric blue. I love that color. So I said, okay, we're going to ask God, higher power, whatever that is for you, whatever your language needs to hear, fill that blank in for yourself. And I asked that to be gifted. And then I put my little hands on his head. And at first there wasn't anything. And I said, just give it a minute. And he said, oh, I can feel that. He could feel and see and sense that cobalt or that electric blue being filtered in, given to him. Be empty. Allow that emptiness to happen by letting grace take this. We're going to do a guided meditation here in a second. We're going to do that. We're going to let grace have this. Let the compassion of divine source have it. Allow yourself to be in a space of emptiness, and then I want you to pick a color. And we're going to let that color flow in and fill that. Strengthen you and ignite within you that fire for living. How cool does that sound? Sound like fun? Do I have anything else I want to share with you? Let me check one more time. I'm getting there's something else. Okay, so, well, can I just read you what I went to here? Psalms 29. Ascribe to the Lord, O sons of the mighty. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord glory due his name. Worship the Lord in holy array. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord is over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is majestic. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Yes, the Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. Let me skip down to the last verse. The Lord will give strength to his people. I'm going to cry. The Lord will bless his people with peace. And with that, let's do guided meditation.